The great hall of Nexus Prime buzzed with hundreds of different voices. Creatures of all shapes and sizes filled the massive chamber. Some floated in gas-filled bubbles. Others stood on multiple legs or crawled on surfaces that others could not touch. The Galactic Council meeting was about to begin. Hyejin walked to the center of the hall. Her blue skin marked her as one of the Zentari people. She had been the council mediator for over 50 years. Today's meeting would discuss something that had puzzled the galaxy for 3 centuries. Council members, she said, her voice carrying through the hall's speakers. We gathered today to discuss the human quarantine zone. A wave of murmurs spread through the crowd. In the back corner, a lone figure sat quietly. Jinwoo appeared human, though most council members had never seen one before. He wore simple gray clothes and watched the proceedings with dark, careful eyes. Ambassador Cairo of the Velthari rose from his seat. His people looked like tall, thin birds with 4 arms. Mediator Hyejin, he said, this mystery has gone on too long. An entire sector of space sits empty, while we overcrowd our trade routes. Why do we honor this ancient agreement? Other voices joined in agreement. The Thranx ambassador clicked his mandibles in frustration. Our ships must travel twice as far to reach the outer colonies. The human zone blocks the shortest paths. Hyejin raised her hand for silence. Let us review the records, she said. A hologram appeared in the center of the hall. It showed a map of known space. One large section glowed red with warning markers. 300 years ago, humanity made first contact with our civilization, Hyejin explained. They spoke with us for exactly 7 days. Then they made a simple request. They asked for this entire region to be marked as forbidden to all galactic traffic. But why? Asked Taemian, a young Velthari pilot. He was Cairo's nephew and known for asking difficult questions. What reason did they give? None, Hyejin said. They simply said it was necessary for the safety of all galactic life. They promised to remain within their borders and never expand beyond them. The crowd erupted in confused chatter. Many species had territorial disputes, but none had ever voluntarily imprisoned themselves in one region of space. A deep voice rumbled from the Gornath section. Perhaps they hide weapons of great power. Perhaps they plan to attack us when we least expect it. Unlikely, said Dr. Phalis of the Aquari. Her voice bubbled through the water that surrounded her. Our long-range sensors detect no military buildup. Their energy signatures suggest peaceful activities only. Jinwoo shifted in his seat but said nothing. His presence at these meetings had been allowed for over a century, though he never spoke. Some council members wondered why he came at all. Taemin stood up again. His young voice carried across the hall. What if we just asked them? Surely after 300 years they might be willing to explain. We have tried, Hyejin said sadly. Every 50 years we send diplomatic messages to the border stations. The response is always the same. They thank us for respecting the quarantine and request that it continue indefinitely. It makes no sense, Cairo said. No species isolates itself without reason. There must be something they are hiding. The Christine representative chimed in with a sound like wind through glass. Our people have long memories. We recall the first contact period. The humans seemed afraid. Not of us, but for us. This statement caused more confusion. Fear was common during first contact, but usually new species feared the larger galactic community. They did not fear for it. Hyejin called up more holographic displays. These are readings from the border region over the past century. Notice the energy patterns. Strange waves of data flowed across the display. The patterns were unlike anything produced by known galactic technology. They seemed to pulse with life itself. Whatever the humans are doing in there, Hyejin continued, it requires enormous amounts of energy. Some of our scientists believe they are running experiments on a galactic scale. Or building superweapons, growled Ambassador Throck of the Ursine Coalition. The energy signatures do not match weapons, Dr. Phyllis corrected. They appear more biological in nature. Jinwoo finally moved. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small device. For a moment it seemed like he might speak. Then he put the device away and settled back into silence. Taemin had been watching Jinwoo carefully. Observer Jinwoo, he called out. You attend every one of these meetings. You must have opinions about your own people. The hall fell silent. Everyone turned to look at the lone human. Jinwoo sat quietly for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was soft but clear. The quarantine must continue, he said, for the safety of all life in this galaxy. That is not an explanation, Cairo protested. It is the same non-answer we have received for centuries. Jinwoo looked directly at the Veltari ambassador. Some answers carry great danger. Some knowledge brings only pain. We are not children, Taemin said, his young voice growing heated. We have faced cosmic storms, plague worlds, and time distortions. What could be so terrible that an entire species hides from the galaxy? Jinwoo was quiet again. When he spoke, his words were barely above a whisper. You assume we are hiding from you? You assume we fear you will harm us? He paused and looked around the hall. You never consider that we might be protecting you from us. The statement sent a chill through the assembled beings. What could humans possess that made them dangerous to the entire galaxy? Jin tried to restore order to the increasingly chaotic meeting. Perhaps we should focus on practical matters. Trade route improvements, better communication methods, but the damage was done. Jinwoo's words had planted a seed of curiosity that would be hard to contain. Throughout the hall, young representatives whispered to each other. What were the humans hiding? What made them so dangerous? As the meeting ended, Taemin approached Jinwoo. I do not accept mystery as an answer, he said. If your people truly protect us, then we should know from what. Jinwoo looked at the young pilot with sad eyes. Knowledge cannot be unknown once learned. Some doors should never be opened. But Taemin was young and curious and brave. As Jinwoo walked away, the Veltari pilot made a decision that would change everything. He would find out the truth about human space no matter what the cost. 3 months after the council meeting, a small fleet gathered in secret at the edge of known space. 5 ships hung in the darkness, each representing a different species. Taemin had spent weeks convincing others to join his mission. The Veltari pilot floated in the command center of his ship, the Swift Wing. Around him, holographic displays showed his team members on their own vessels. Korvax of the Thranks clicked his mandibles nervously. His insect-like features looked worried through the communication screen. Are you certain about this, Taemin? Korvax asked. The Council forbade any attempt to enter human space. The Council forbids many things, Taemin replied. They once forbade contact with the Voidwalkers, and now they are our closest allies. On another screen, Zephyra of the Aquari swam in circles within her water-filled ship. Her tentacles moved in patterns that showed anxiety. My people's sensors are picking up strange readings from the border. Something is definitely different about human space. Yarrick of the Stoneheart clan spoke next. His rock-like features never showed emotion, but his voice carried concern. The energy barriers around their territory have grown stronger over the past century. Whatever they are hiding has become more powerful. The last member of their group was Nexus, a young Christine whose body chimed softly as she spoke. My elders remember the first contact period. They say the humans seemed desperate to get away from us, not angry or afraid, just desperate. Taemin checked his ship's stealth systems one more time. Each vessel carried the most advanced cloaking technology their species could provide. In theory, they should be invisible to any sensors. Remember, Taemin said to his team, we are explorers, not invaders. We enter human space only to learn the truth. If they ask us to leave, we leave immediately. The 5 ships moved forward together. The border of human space appeared on their sensors as a wall of energy that stretched across several star systems. Warning beacons floated in the darkness, sending automated messages in hundreds of galactic languages. Attention, you are approaching quarantined space. For the safety of all galactic life, do not proceed. This message is sent with respect and friendship by the human colonial authority. The message repeated endlessly. It had been the same for 3 centuries. Taemin's ship reached the energy barrier first. His sensors showed the wall was not solid but made of some kind of scanning field. All ships activate stealth mode. Follow my lead. One by one, the ships passed through the barrier. For a moment, nothing happened. Then their instruments went wild. Taemin! Korvax's voice cracked with panic. Something is scanning us. The energy readings are unlike anything I have ever seen. Before anyone could respond, 5 new ships appeared around them. They had not been there a second before. Sleek silver vessels that seemed to bend light around their edges. A new voice came through their communications. It sounded human, female, and very tired. Unknown vessels, this is Commander So Young of the Human Border Patrol. You have entered quarantined space. For your own safety, you must leave immediately. Taemin found his voice. Commander So Young, I am Pilot Taemin of the Veltari Republic. We come in peace, seeking only knowledge. I understand your curiosity, So Young replied. But you do not understand the danger you face. Please turn around now. What danger? Taemin asked. Your people have given no explanation for 300 years. We demand to know the truth. There was a long pause. When So-young spoke again, her voice sounded even more tired. Very well. But know that knowledge cannot be unknown once learned. Follow my ship. Stay in formation. Do not deviate from the planned route. The human ships began moving deeper into their territory. Taemin's team followed, their instruments recording everything. What they saw amazed them. Human space was not empty or dark. Massive stations floated between the stars, connected by streams of energy that carried ships faster than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Worlds that should have been barren rocks bloomed with life and cities that stretched across entire continents. Look at their technology, Zephyra whispered in awe. Those energy conduits are beyond our understanding. The ships, Yarick added. They appear to be made of living metal. How is that possible? Nexus chimed softly. The energy signatures? They are not just mechanical. There is something biological mixed in. As they traveled deeper into human space, So-young's voice provided a running commentary. You are seeing 3 centuries of isolated development. When a species is cut off from outside influence, it grows in unexpected ways. Cut off by choice, Taemin pointed out. Why did you choose isolation? You will understand soon, So-young said sadly. They approached a massive space station that dwarfed anything in galactic space. It was built like a city, with towers that stretched for kilometers. Ships moved in and out of docking bays that could handle vessels the size of small moons. Welcome to Haven Station, So-young announced. Administrator Dong-hyun is waiting to meet you. As their ships were guided into a docking bay, Taemin's team marveled at what they saw. Human workers moved around the bay, but they wore full environmental suits even though atmosphere readings showed the air was safe for most galactic species. Why do they wear protective gear in their own station? Korvax wondered aloud. When the ships had landed, So-young's voice came over the communications one final time. Before you leave your vessels, there is something you must know. You are about to meet humans face to face. This has not happened in 3 centuries. What you learn here will change how your species view us forever. The docking bay doors opened. Taemin and his team stepped out in their own protective suits, standard procedure when visiting unknown environments. A group of humans waited for them, still wearing their environmental gear. One human stepped forward. Through the clear faceplate of his helmet, they could see a middle-aged man with kind but sad eyes. I am Administrator Dong-hyun, he said. I welcome you to human space. But I must warn you. Once you learn our secret, you can never unknown it. Are you prepared for that responsibility? Taemin looked at his companions. They had come too far to turn back now. We are prepared, he said. Dong-hyun nodded slowly. Then follow me. It is time you learned why no species enters human space, and why the galaxy is safer because of it. As they walked deeper into the station, Taemin noticed something strange. Every surface the humans had touched showed traces of some kind of biological residue. Their instruments detected organic compounds unlike anything in known galactic databases. Whatever the humans were hiding, it was literally part of them. And from the way Dong-hyun spoke, it was something that could threaten every living thing in the galaxy. Administrator Dong-hyun led the alien visitors through the corridors of Haven Station. The hallways were wide and clean, but something felt wrong to the visiting team. Every few meters they passed through scanning fields that hummed with strange energy. Decontamination fields, Dong-hyun explained when he noticed their instruments detecting the scans. They are not for your protection. They are for the protection of everything else. The group entered a large chamber filled with scientific equipment. Holographic displays showed complex biological data that none of the visitors recognized. A woman in a white environmental suit approached them. This is Dr. Yoonji, our chief medical officer, Dong-hyun said. She will explain what you came here to learn. Dr. Yoonji activated a holographic projector in the center of the room. A 3-dimensional image of a virus appeared, spinning slowly in the air. It looked like nothing in any galactic database. What you are seeing, Dr. Yoonji began, is the reason for our 300-year isolation. We call it the human retrovirus, or HRV. Every human carries it in their genetic code. Taemin stepped closer to examine the hologram. A virus? But viruses are common throughout the galaxy. Many species carry harmless biological agents. This one is not harmless, Dr. Yoonji said quietly. Not to other species. The hologram changed, showing the virus interacting with different types of cells. The visiting team watched in growing horror as the virus systematically destroyed every non-human cell it encountered. HRV is completely harmless to humans, Dr. Yunji continued. We evolved with it over millions of years. It is as much a part of us as our blood or bones. But to every other known form of galactic life, she did not need to finish the sentence. The holographic display showed the results clearly. Velthori cells died within minutes of exposure. Thrank's tissue dissolved. Aquari nervous system shut down completely. Korvax made a clicking sound of distress. You mean, humans are walking biological weapons? Not by choice, Donghyun said sadly. We discovered this during first contact 3 centuries ago. A diplomatic team visited one of your ships. Within hours, every alien aboard was dead. The room fell silent except for the hum of the station's systems. Saphira's tentacles curled in on themselves, a sign of extreme anxiety among her people. The virus spreads through air, touch, and proximity, Dr. Yunji explained. Even these environmental suits cannot contain it completely. We are only safe to be near you because of the station's advanced containment systems. Nexus chimed a question. How fast does it work? Dr. Yunji brought up more data. Exposure leads to death in most species within 2 to 6 hours. Some take longer. Some die faster. We have never found a species that is immune. Yarek's rocky voice rumbled with concern. You said you learned this during first contact. What happened exactly? Donghyun activated another holographic display. It showed historical records from 3 centuries ago. Images of human and alien ships meeting in space. Then images of bodies. The Polari were the first species we encountered, Donghyun said. They invited a human diplomatic team aboard their vessel for a formal meeting. Ambassador Chen and his staff spent 6 hours with the Polari delegation. The historical records showed the aftermath. Dozens of Polari bodies floating in their ship's corridors. The humans, confused and horrified, trying to provide medical aid that only made things worse. We did not understand what had happened, Donghyun continued. We thought it might be some kind of allergic reaction or contamination from our ship. So we tried again with a different species. More images appeared. The Rillan, a peaceful aquatic species similar to the Aquari. The same result. Death within hours of human contact. After the third incident, Dr. Yunji said, we realized the truth. We were the common factor. Every species that came into direct contact with humans died. Taemin found his voice. So you chose to quarantine yourselves? To protect us? What choice did we have? Donghyun asked. We could either become the galaxy's greatest monsters, spreading death wherever we went, or we could remove ourselves from the equation entirely. Another human entered the room. This one wore different clothes, marking her as someone important. She removed her helmet, revealing short black hair and determined eyes. I am Minna of the Human Ethics Committee, she said. I was there during the original decision. I watched the debates that led to our isolation. Minna activated another display showing records from 3 centuries ago. Humans arguing in great halls, their faces showing pain and desperation. Some wanted to keep trying, Minna explained. They thought we could find a cure or develop better containment. Others suggested that we warn species to stay away while we looked for solutions. But the Ethics Committee had a different view. Donghyun added. We could not risk even one more death while we experimented. Every day we delayed meant potential genocide. The alien visitors looked at the humans with new understanding. They had voluntarily imprisoned themselves to protect species they had barely met. For 300 years, Dr. Yunji said, we have worked to find a solution. We have tried everything. Genetic therapy, viral suppression, biological modification. Nothing works. The virus is too deeply integrated into our genetic structure. Remove it and we would no longer be human. Zephyra asked the question they were all thinking. Have you never considered ending your species? To protect the galaxy? The humans looked at each other. It was clear this had been discussed before. Many times, Minna said quietly, but we decided that extinction was not the answer. Instead, we chose eternal isolation. We would live apart from the galaxy, but we would live, and perhaps someday we might find a way to join you safely. Hyun-soo, another human scientist, approached with a tablet showing current research. We have made progress in other areas. We have learned to contain the virus within specific boundaries. We can interact with technology and environment safely, as long as biological contact is prevented. This is how observer Jin Woo can attend council meetings, Dong-hyun explained. Advanced containment suits, constant decontamination, and very careful protocols. The alien team was struggling to process everything they had learned. An entire species had chosen exile to protect others. It was beyond anything in their understanding. Your people, Taemin said slowly, are heroes. No, Dong-hyun replied. We are simply people trying to do what is right. The galaxy is better without us in it, so we stay away. As the revelation sank in, the visiting team realized they now carried a terrible burden. They knew the truth about humanity, and they would have to decide what to do with that knowledge. The question remained, how do you tell an entire galaxy that their greatest mystery was also their greatest tragedy? Dr. Yoonji led the alien visitors to another section of Haven Station. This area felt different from the sterile laboratory they had just left. The walls were covered with images, documents, and memorials that told the story of 3 centuries in isolation. You understand our biological situation now, Yoonji said as she stopped before a large display. But you do not yet understand the true cost of what we chose. The display showed Earth as it was 300 years ago. Blue oceans, green continents, and silver cities reaching toward the stars. Then it showed Earth today. The planet was still beautiful, but something had changed in the way humans lived. When we first made contact with the galaxy, Yoonji explained, humanity was ready to join the galactic community. We had prepared for centuries. We dreamed of exploring new worlds, meeting alien species, sharing knowledge and culture. She activated a recording from the past. The image showed a young human woman with bright eyes and an excited voice. The timestamp showed it was from exactly 300 years ago. My name is Commander Park Hee-jin, the recorded woman said. Today we make first contact with galactic civilization. This is the greatest day in human history. The alien visitors recognized the name. This was the same Hee-jin who now served as a council mediator, though she was clearly not human. Commander Park was our first ambassador, Yoonji continued. She was also the first human to learn the terrible truth about our biology. She watched the Polari die. She had to make the decision to end all human contact with galactic species. The recording changed to show Commander Park weeks later. Her eyes were hollow, her voice broken. We cannot be part of this galaxy, she said to a gathering of human leaders. Every breath we take near them brings death. We must stay away. Seung-ho, a human historian, joined the group. He was older than the others, with gray hair and lines around his eyes that spoke of years spent preserving painful memories. The psychological impact was immediate, Seung-ho said. Imagine learning that your very existence threatens all other life in the universe. Imagine choosing to cut yourself off from everything you had dreamed of becoming. He showed them records from the early years of isolation. Depression rates among humans had skyrocketed. Suicide became common. Many humans could not accept that they could never safely touch another intelligent being. The first 50 years were the hardest, Seung-ho continued. We lost millions of people to despair. Entire colonies wanted to end their existence rather than live in eternal isolation. Nexus chimed a question about human expansion during this period. Seung-ho brought up star charts showing human territory over time. We had to change everything about how we lived, he explained. Before isolation, we planned to spread across the galaxy, meeting new species on every world. After, we could only expand within our quarantine zone. The charts showed something remarkable. Human space had grown larger over the centuries, but it had grown inward rather than outward. Instead of spreading thin across many systems, humans had built deep, complex civilizations within their allowed boundaries. Necessity became the mother of invention, Seung-ho said. When you cannot trade with other species, you must become completely self-sufficient. When you cannot visit alien worlds, you must make your own worlds perfect. The displays showed the results of 3 centuries of focused development. Human technology had advanced far beyond what should have been possible for an isolated species. They had built artificial worlds, tamed black holes for energy, and created ships that could travel between stars in days rather than months. But the greatest cost, Yoonji said quietly, was emotional. Every human alive knows that we can never truly be part of the galactic community. We watch your civilizations from afar, but we can never join them. She showed them recordings of human children asking why they could never meet alien friends. Parents struggling to explain that their love for their children meant keeping them away from the wider universe. Taemin was beginning to understand the magnitude of humanity's sacrifice. You have been prisoners in your own territory for 300 years. Not prisoners, Seung-ho corrected. Guardians, the word hung in the air. Seung-ho brought up new displays showing activities outside human space. Long-range scanners detected human ships moving through distant regions, always careful to avoid contact with other species. We may be isolated, Seung-ho explained, but we are not inactive. For 3 centuries, humans have secretly protected galactic civilization. The evidence was overwhelming. Asteroid fields mysteriously cleared from trade routes, dangerous spatial anomalies that appeared and then vanished before they could threaten inhabited worlds. Cosmic storms that changed direction just before hitting populated systems. You have been helping us, Zafira said in amazement. All this time you have been protecting the galaxy from disasters. It is the least we can do, Yunji replied. We cannot join your civilization, but we can keep it safe. Our advanced technology allows us to detect threats long before your sensors can. We redirect them when possible, destroy them when necessary. Korvax clicked his mandibles in thought. The unexplained energy readings our scientists have detected? Emergency response systems, Seung-ho confirmed. When we detect a cosmic threat approaching galactic space, we deploy intervention technology. Most of the time, you never know the danger existed. Jinwoo's voice came through the station's communication system. They had not seen him since arriving, but he had apparently been monitoring their visit. 3 months ago, Jinwoo said, a rogue black hole was approaching the Velthari home system. It would have arrived in 18 years. Your science would have detected it in 15 years. Too late to evacuate. Taemin felt a chill. What happened to it? Human engineering ships redirected its course, Jinwoo explained. It now travels harmlessly through empty space. Your people will never know how close they came to extinction. The alien visitors were silent as they absorbed this information. For 3 centuries, humanity had suffered in isolation while secretly protecting the very species they could never safely meet. Why? Yarrick asked finally. Why protect those who cannot be near you? Yunji smiled sadly. Because they are alive. Because they have families and dreams and hopes for the future. Because the galaxy is beautiful with them in it, even if we can never be part of that beauty. Mina returned to the group, carrying more historical records. There have been proposals over the years to reveal our protection activities. Some humans wanted the galaxy to know we were helping. Why did you decide against it? Taemin asked. Because heroes who seek recognition are not truly heroes, Mina replied. We chose isolation to protect you. Seeking praise for that choice would make it selfish rather than selfless. As the alien team continued to learn about humanity's hidden sacrifices, they began to understand that they had discovered something unprecedented in galactic history. An entire species had chosen to become the galaxy's secret guardians, asking for nothing in return except the right to exist alone. The question now was whether the galaxy deserved to know the truth about humanity's gift to them. 6 weeks later, the Great Hall of Nexus Prime was more crowded than it had ever been. Word had spread that Taemin's expedition had returned with answers about the human mystery. Representatives from every major species in the galaxy had come to hear the truth. Taemin stood at the center of the hall, but he looked different than when he had left. The confident young pilot who had demanded answers now carried the weight of terrible knowledge. His team members stood nearby, all showing signs of the emotional burden they bore. Mediator Hyejin called for silence. The Council recognizes Pilot Taemin of the Velthari Republic. You requested this emergency session to report on your unauthorized entry into human space. Thank you, Mediator, Taemin said. His voice was quiet, forcing the hall to strain to hear him. What we learned changes everything we thought we knew about humanity. He activated a holographic projector. The image that appeared was not the detailed scientific data they had gathered, but something simpler. A picture of human children playing in a garden on one of their worlds. For 300 years, Taemin began, we have wondered why humans chose isolation. We thought they were hiding weapons or technology or some dark secret that threatened us. He paused, looking around the hall. We were wrong. The image changed to show the virus that lived within every human cell. Gasps echoed through the hall as Taemin explained what they had learned. Humans carry a biological agent that is harmless to them, but lethal to all other known galactic life. They discovered this during first contact 3 centuries ago. Rather than risk becoming galactic destroyers, they chose voluntary exile. The hall erupted in shocked chatter. Some representatives refused to believe it. Others demanded proof. Ambassador Cairo rose from his seat. "You are saying that humans could kill us simply by being near us?" Cairo asked. "Within hours," Taman confirmed. "We have seen the historical records. Every species that made direct contact with humans died. Every single one." Dr. Phelis of the Aquari spoke up. "This explains the biological energy readings we have detected from their space. They have been developing containment technology." Korvac stepped forward to support his friend's testimony. "I have analyzed the samples we were permitted to take. The human retrovirus is unlike anything in our databases. It appears to target the fundamental biological processes that all non-human life shares." The Christine representative chimed a question about human expansion during the isolation period. Zafira answered, her tentacles moving in patterns of deep respect. "They have built a magnificent civilization within their quarantine zone," she said. "Advanced technology, beautiful worlds, countless colonies, but they have never expanded beyond the boundaries they set 3 centuries ago. Even though they could," Yarrick added, his rocky voice carrying emotion that was rare for his species. "They have the power to colonize any world they wish, but they stay within their prison to protect us." Nexus provided the final piece of their testimony. Her crystalline voice rang clearly through the hall. "They have been protecting us all along. Human ships secretly guard our trade routes, redirect cosmic threats, and prevent disasters we never knew existed." The hall fell silent as the full magnitude of humanity's sacrifice became clear. Ambassador Throck of the Ursine Coalition was the first to speak. "You are telling us that humans have spent 3 centuries in self-imposed exile to protect species they barely know." "Not barely know," Taman corrected. "They have studied us extensively. They know our cultures, our histories, our struggles. They have watched over us like parents watching children they can never hold." The emotional weight of this statement affected the entire hall. Many species had concepts of parental love and sacrifice, but nothing on this scale. Mediator Hyejin struggled to maintain order as the implications sank in. "If this is true," she said, "then humanity has made the greatest sacrifice in galactic history." "It is true," said a familiar voice from the back of the hall. Jinwoo stepped forward, no longer the silent observer he had been for over a century. "Every word they speak is true." The hall turned to face the human representative. For the first time, they saw him not as a mysterious figure, but as a symbol of his people's isolation. "Observer Jinwoo," Hyejin said formally, "do you confirm this testimony?" "I confirm it," Jinwoo replied. "I also bring a message from the Human Colonial Authority. We are grateful that the truth is finally known, but our position remains unchanged. The quarantine must continue." "But now that we understand," Taman protested, "surely we can find solutions. Better containment technology, medical treatments." Jinwoo shook his head sadly. "For 300 years, the best human scientists have searched for a cure. The virus is too deeply integrated into our genetic structure. We are what we are." Dr. Phelis raised a tentacle. "What about limited contact? Communications, trade through intermediaries?" "We are willing to explore such possibilities," Jinwoo said. "But direct biological contact will never be safe. We accept this reality." The discussion that followed lasted for hours. Species after species stood to express their understanding, their respect, and their desire to honor humanity's sacrifice. The Gornath, usually focused on military strength, spoke of humanity's moral courage. The peaceful Aquari wept for the loneliness humans had endured. Finally, Mediator Hyejin called for formal recognition. "This council moves to officially acknowledge humanity's protection of galactic civilization and to establish new protocols for human-galactic interaction." The vote was unanimous. For the first time in galactic history, every single species agreed on something. Over the following months, new systems were put in place. Long-range communication networks allowed humans to participate in galactic scientific and cultural exchanges. Automated trade systems let humans contribute their advanced technology without risk of contamination. Most importantly, the galaxy's understanding of humanity changed completely. No longer were they a mysterious threat to be avoided. They became the most honored species in galactic civilization, revered for their selfless protection of others. Human space was no longer called a quarantine zone. It became known as the Guardian Territory. The warning beacons were replaced with monuments thanking humanity for their sacrifice. Taman visited the border regularly, using the new communication systems to speak with human friends he had made during his historic journey. On one such visit, he spoke with Administrator Donghyun. "Do you ever regret your people's choice?" Taemin asked. Donghyun considered the question carefully. "We regret the necessity of it," he finally said. "We regret that the universe is built in a way that makes our isolation required. But we do not regret choosing life over death, protection over conquest. The galaxy owes you everything," Taemin said. "The galaxy owes us nothing," Donghyun replied. "Love given freely asks for nothing in return. We love the galaxy enough to stay away from it. That is enough for us." As the communication ended, Taemin looked out at the boundary of human space. Beyond that energy barrier lived billions of humans who had chosen eternal isolation to protect people they would never meet. It was the greatest act of love in galactic history. Now the galaxy finally understood why no species entered human space. It was not because humans feared others or because others feared humans. It was because love sometimes means letting go. And true heroism sometimes means accepting that you can never be part of the very thing you die to protect. The quarantine would continue, but humanity would never be alone again. Across the galaxy, billions of beings looked toward human space not with fear or curiosity, but with gratitude and love for the species that had chosen to guard them from the shadows. In protecting the galaxy from themselves, humans had become its greatest heroes.